Okay. Next is the range method. So the range returns an iterator that yields a sequence of evenly spaced integers. Okay. So that means it sets up that box that I talked about for a for loop. Okay. You have a box and you have a bunch of elements. You take one element at a time. That's an iterator. Iterator means you repeat a particular action over a collection. That collection could be a list, which is what we did. Like we said S equal to that the list serves the function of an iterator. Okay, list can do lots of things, and one of the things it can perform is being an iterator. So same way, range command is an iterator, and the simplest way we use range is you specify a number. Okay. Then it tells you, so if you simply specify a number, then the range starts with a 0, and then it will have 10 digits with an increment of 1. So it will go from 0 to 9. So this does not, suppose if you set it equal to a variable, the variable will not have, okay, so this is a key concept. The variable is not going to have those numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. No. It just has that information that, okay, this is a range, starts with 0, and it has 10 numbers. Okay, that's the information that is coded. It doesn't have the actual values, but for an iterator, it doesn't matter. So now, once you set this up like this, then you can do a for loop. You can say for I in A, okay, print I. Okay, so A is the range starting from 0 having 10 numbers. So this I is, it takes the values in the iterator and then puts it into I, and then you print it. So range can be used as an iterator. Okay, and if you want those numbers actually, you want that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, then range is not going to be helpful. You have to take the range and make it into a list. So you can do that by, if you, well, you have to use the list function. So if you say list A, and let's set it equal to a different variable, then we will print B. So now the iterator A is expanded out, okay, and that is set to B. Now B has all the numbers. B can also be used as an iterator, but it is more efficient to use A because B takes up all that space, because A is very concise. Okay, there are other ways. So range, you know, if you simply give a number, then there are two things that are assumed. The starting point is assumed to be 0, and the increment is assumed to be 1. Okay, and how many is the number that you specify. But you can specify any starting point you want. Say you want to start at 5, okay, and you want to stop at 0, and you want the step to be -1. So now you're going to go from 5, go down, 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 because the step is -1. Okay? So let's make it into a list, because we want to take a look at what it is. Then we'll convert that into a list, then we can see what the actual result will be, which is implicit in the range. Okay. Remember again, range is just a generator. It has all the parameters to generate something. Okay, that something is not there in range. And if you want that something, then you have to convert it into a list. So another example, list range. We start with say 10, end with 100, and increment. Okay, notice here that the ending point is not inclusive. Okay. Suppose if I make this into 101, then it will go all the way up to 100. Okay. Start, stop. Stop is not inclusive. Step. Okay. So that is the format for range. Okay. And then we have ternary expression. Ternary expression is nothing but the if function in more of an Excel format, Excel-like if. So 3 things come at the same time. So here, so it combines an if-else block into a single line or expression. Syntax for this in Python is value equal to true expression. Okay, so that's the answer, and then you have the if condition, then else false expression later. So for example, you want to test, we want to say non-negative. And then say if x is, okay, now the condition we specify here, okay, if the condition is true, then the first part is the answer. So if x is greater than or equal to 0, non-negative will be inclusive of 0. Okay, and then you say else negative. So it's the if-else combination in a single line. It's more compact. So if you have only one thing to do, if the if condition is true, not a lot. If you have several things to do, then you have to use the regular if block. Okay, if only one thing, then you can do it in this way. It's more compact.